DeathSpank, Hothead, Ron Gilbert, action RPG.
What do you think of it?
I love this game just because it's got this whole charming world, and you know it looks like a watercolor painting, and it's got funny dialogue, and it actually makes me laugh a couple times.
Yes, this is Ron Gilbert dialogue through and through, and in fact, I was talking about with Frank Cifaldi earlier. I think this is the first time he's kind of let loose with dialogue really absurd and funny.
But what I want more than anything else in the whole world is
Here it comes.
a daddy.
I guess I could pay a drunk to be your daddy.
The quests even themselves occasionally, though a lot of them do end up being like, go fight these things and collect this item. A lot of them do have some amusing twists and turns.
Compared to a Diablo, this is obviously much more
It's much more
mainstream accessible.
Yeah, it is much more streamlined. That's both good and bad depending on your perspective. Like if you are a loot horror action RPG fan who's played games like Titan Quest and even Diablo and whatnot, this might be a little too simple for you. But for someone like you who does have that perspective, you're probably not as bothered by things about it as I am. Ron commented that there are things that bother about action RPGs that he decides to fix in this game. And for every time he fixes one of those things, there's actually something else that's kind of taken away that's been an assumption or given. When you get equipment, like there's like a nice like green thing like this is better than what you have. But actually comparing what you have, because sometimes it's not always that clear cut. Like sometimes things will do more damage, but for example, a weapon will do less overall damage, or do more ice damage, which you don't have. So actually thinking about the stat numbers, which is what some people who are fans of these games like want to balance out their characters, to quickly compare those two items is actually not that easy to do in this game. Like other games, you literally, when you have like the item that tells you what it does, most games in this genre will actually tell you what you have equipped at the same, right next to each other. It says, so you can easily compare, like look at two spreadsheets yourself. Those you gotta go back and forth between the items. That's like a weird, unnecessary step that was fixed like literally 8 years ago.
Apart from the kind of simplicity and stuff it's lost from Diablo, say somebody new is coming to this, they gonna have fun?
I think they'll have fun in general. I think there'll be things that you'll notice that might bother you. Like there are times where the answer to what to do is obvious, but because you never had to do it before, you never really thought of an option to try it that way. So like occasionally like the way to solve something is counter to how you've been solving a similar quest early on. So you're conditioned, for example, you're conditioned to like use items from inventory one way, this one method, like user interface. And at one point you're told to use the item but a different way than you've been doing the entire time. So I actually thought it was busted because I couldn't do it the way I'm used to doing it. But once I did the hint system, I actually said, do this instead. I go, oh, okay, it never occurred to me to do it that way simply because I've never had to do it that way. Thank God for that hint system, because it did finally point me to like, do this instead of what you've been doing previously. How do you think about the co-op?
Oh, the co-op. Sparkles the Wizard. Fun little character. I like the name and the kind of appeal. It seems to me like they didn't have time or effort or whatever reason to put a full co-op thing in there. So they're like, okay, well, if we can't go all the way, we might as well like half-ass it to the max. Like do a really good half-assed version of co-op. That's what it feels like. It's not online, and it's all about kind of you're a support character for DeathSpank. You know, you can breathe fire, teleport yourself, and clone yourself, and all these kinds of things. I wouldn't say you should go in expecting a co-op game. I'd say, you know, you need to kind of view it as a single-player game first that has a little bit of fun co-op stuff on the side, but not co-op in the way that you would think of it in like a Diablo.
What makes DeathSpank worth it overall is just to hear all the dialogue that Gilbert and his crew written, because DeathSpank himself, you know, he has that really like magnanimous superhero voice that you find like maybe the Tick cartoon from the 90s, and hearing that just kind of apply to every little instance, and when he even says like, I need to rescue this cat for you kind of thing, and he'll even begrudgingly say like, well, I was expecting to do something more heroic, but I'll do it because you're downtrodden. anyway kind of thing. And that is usually worth the price of whatever issues I have with the game.